Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio, where we are here to nourish our souls. I am Norah, the host of this program, Thoughts by Joanna and Divaldo. It's a beautiful book, and we've been learning so many ways to love. Right? That's the first part of this book is amazing because loving is not just one way. There's multiple ways, as Joanna is teaching us. And sometimes we have to execute two, three things simultaneously for us to work on this, to elevate the frequency, which is really much needed. So today's lesson is really, really beautiful. It calls for us to be Christians, to be benevolent, and to be optimistic. As she says, small acts of solidarity, compassion, benevolence, and kindness create favorable conditions for peace, decreasing the incidence of crime and madness that preponderate in the world. So this is amazing, the way that Joanna is mixing in the humanistic part, right, with the science, because here we have what kind of trends do we want to have on earth, right, in our daily lives. And just like we can see this in our hearts, it's really good for us to see it in a graph form, to see it like the more kindness, right, more, the less the crime there is. So we start to expand our vision, expand the way that we see all of this. And once again, Joanna is really taking us back and forth from this idea of the science with, the Gospels and Spiritism, but most importantly, with us ourselves. Like, what are we doing to partake? And I mean, the Bible, we all know this story, right, of Jesus and the woman who they brought to Jesus, claiming that she was caught, right, in adultery. And everybody was probably thinking, especially that was considered a crime. That's it. But instead of Jesus condemning her, he responds with mercy and forgiveness. And as a matter of fact, he even adds something more powerful, which is very true. He challenged those around, saying, anyone who is without sin, cast the first stone, right? So nobody could do that because we're all here working on ourselves, and none of us are free of all of the shadows, right? Like Joanna de Angelis has and calls them shadows in the book Psychology of Gratitude. So this kindness that Jesus portrays to her is a reflection of who we can be today and how we can break those cycles of violence and of crime, right? And if we go into the Gospels, right, in chapter 15, which is without charity, there is no salvation. It's a beautiful chapter. There's so much there. But quickly, friends, we are taught by the spirits, right? Taught, friends, sorry, by the spirits. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day, friends. It's the end of the school year. So charity and humility as such is the only path to salvation. And it says selfishness and pride are the paths to ruin. And so then, of course, we have that commandment, love yourself, love God above all things, right? And then also love your neighbor as yourself. And so the Spirit says it's not possible to truly love God without loving our neighbor, nor to love our neighbor without loving God. So straightforward, anything we do against our neighbors, we do against God, right? So we have this tapestry, we can say, right? So have a visual. We're not separate. It's not like God's there, we're here, and other people are here, and I'm separating people that I love versus the ones that I love, right? Sadly, it seems like we do that a lot right now, right? Or else we would not still be learning this lesson. When we see the connectedness that we all have. And we see that when we hurt each other, it comes back and vice versa, right? So we're like in this wave and this frequency. And so this algorithm all together. And so that's why it's so important for us to really see and get that visual of how when we put out there more kindness and more compassion, at the end of the day, it's always coming right back at us, and it's beautiful. And then Paul also adds here a beautiful phrase that says, when I learned the language of the angels, when I have the gift of prophecy, which I can penetrate all the mysteries, when I have all the faith that is possible, even to the point of transporting mountains, if I do not have charity, then I am nothing. Within the three virtues, faith, hope, and charity, the most superior of these is charity. So Paul, the Spirit says, there places charity over faith. And there's a beautiful explanation for this, and it really is universal language. This is because charity is within the reach of everybody, from ignorant to wise, rich to poor, and it's independent of any beliefs, right? So charity is not about my religion versus your religion, or my social status versus yours, or my ethnicity versus yours. This is a universal language that we should be kind to each other, that we are responsible for each other. And we have this idea of like in a relationship, right? It's the way we can see it again with numbers. We always think, well, it needs to be 50-50, and or my way or the highway kind of thing. But we know that sometimes the proportion of how much we input, sometimes we have to be the ones that put a little bit more than, let's say, our friends or our partners, right? Sometimes we have these blessings that are given to us where I might need to put my 70% while my friend or my partner is at 30% capacity. And our responsibility in these scenarios is not to demand this person say, you owe me, because, no, it's to simply love, as, Paul here and the spirits are reminding us. There is none of this. We have to be there for each other. So when it comes to situations where we might be, at an advantage, we've already gone through that experience through different reincarnations, right? It is our spiritual duty to help others, to understand that those blessings are not for us necessarily to keep, but to share them, to be like role models, like Jesus did, right? He came and had all of these role models, which leads us right next to the last part of this, friends, because it's really beautiful how Paul then kind of recognizes the spiritism component of this concept, which is says, spiritism's not that says that, oh, we're so enlightened and so now we're saved. It has nothing to do with that. Instead, it says it helps us understand the teachings of Christ, so making us into better Christians. So we make every effort, right? And then this right here, we are all become practicing charity as disciples of Jesus. And that's the max of the max. So when we're all disciples, right? And we even look at the Bible and see the disciples weren't perfect. They all had different things that they had to work on, but there was one thing, right, that Jesus saw in them, and it was their spirit of charity, that in the way that they were able to individually, collectively, however, made a huge impact. And that's for us to remind ourselves, right? Let's love with peacefulness. And when we begin to put this out there, my gosh, we can only imagine. So, dear friends, what a beautiful lesson. Lots of food for thought, right? And being Christians, being disciples, being of oneness will truly transform every single day of our lives. Friends, this is today's message. Until next week, same place and time. And please don't forget to tune in to other programs here at Kardec Radio, where we're always nourishing our souls. And let us not forget, we are love. Bye-bye.